Thank you very much. Now we're moving to a session that is going to focus on one of the most fastest changing and most influential countries, which is India. In today's global landscape, India is not only a major geopolitical player, but also an emerging leader in sustainable, digital, and scalable urban solutions. This session, India as a global urban power, geopolitics, digitalization, and smart cities, is going to explore how cities can act as platforms for diplomacy, technology, and development, and also how Spain and India can strengthen their collaboration through shared urban strategies. To get this discussion, we're going to welcome our chair, Pau Solanilla. He's the partner at Harmon Corporate Affairs, an expert in international relations and non-market strategies. Pau has also served as a commissioner for international relations and city promotion at the Barcelona City Council, head of global relations for the Digital Future Society at the Mobile World Capital, and also executive advisor at Spain's Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the European Parliament. So, Pau, whenever you're ready.
Gracias. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, maybe after lunch is not easy to attend debates, but I'm going to tell you that it's going to be one of the most exciting panels of the whole Congress. So, it's worth for you to be here. So this afternoon, we're going to talk about a paradox, if you allow me to say. We're going to talk about India as a global urban power, the most populated country in the world, and probably one of the most unknown countries in international relations in the global scene. And this afternoon, we want to overcome a little bit this gap, talking about India as a urban power, but also talking about how Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain, we can strengthen ties, how we can profit the expertise and experience that we have, especially here in the Smart City World Expo. For that, we have four fascinating speakers. We have Dhaval Desai, Vice President and Senior Fellow of Observer Research Foundation, coming from Mumbai. Welcome. Also, we have Mr. Nandal Lawa, Fellow Observer Research Foundation, also from Mumbai. Thank you. We have Mrs. Elena Gomez Castro, Special Ambassador for the Indo-Pacific region from the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Spain. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Maria Galindo, Secretary of Digital Policies of Generalitat de Catalunya, regional government, and also with a background in Barcelona City Council. Welcome. So we have 45 minutes of dialogue. And before going into the first question to the ambassador, let me go in deep a little bit about this paradox about India. There is an urban economist, Edward Glasser, who wrote a book a few years ago, The Triumph of the Cities. And the thesis of that book was that cities has been the invention, the most successful tool of humanity in order to provide wealth and development in the world. But the point is that cities can have a lot of success, but also can die if they have a success that is not well managed. And we have nowadays as humanity a number of challenges that we have to face. If we talk about humanity challenges, especially talking about cities and territories, if you take any single Indian city, for example, Mumbai, if we think about competitiveness, opportunities, sustainability, equity, security, or democracy, Indian cities are global laboratories. All these challenges are concentrated in the biggest cities in India. So what happens in an Indian city, it has an impact or can have a positive impact in the rest of the world. So that's why it's very important to talk about Indian cities in the Smart City Congress. In that sense, in order to provide a little bit the frame and the reason why we are here this afternoon, I would like to ask Ambassador, due to the experience you have been working for many years in Brussels, you have an important experience in international organizations, but you are ambassador now from the Indo-Pacific. There is a data that has surprised me, is that over the last 18 years, any Spanish prime minister was visiting India. 18 years without visiting the most populated country in the world. This fortunately was broken last year. And the question is, why India? Elena, why we are talking about India? What is the importance of India also for the Smart City World Congress? And thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Pau, and thank you very much, Barcelona, for the warm welcome. I'm delighted to be here again. Let me just make a few points. First, on the bilateral relationship, Spain and India. Second, about this forum. Third, on the EU. And finally, on multilateralism. Spain and India share essential features: consolidated democracies, commitment with multilateralism and international law, as well as with solidarity, and both are global actors. Moreover, next year, we will celebrate the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations, platinum anniversary, and that's really something to be celebrated. That underscores the strength and the endurance of our ties, also the trust that exists between our two countries. The last visit of President Sanchez to India last year that you just mentioned, Pau, and the joint declaration have represented an important stepping stone in this pragmatic approach to the future. And the celebration will be articulated around the year of culture, tourism, and artificial intelligence, Spain-India. Second, on the forum. Last year I was in Mumbai. Today I'm here in Barcelona. Two cities that are maritime, open to the world, that share the same difficulties sometimes, but that also serve as a joint venture in this adventure of international relations. The seas unite us, but they also offer challenges that we have to challenge together. Minister Jaishankar came for the first time ever. Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs was invited to our annual conference of ambassadors of Spain, and he said, the indivisible nature of responsibilities, opportunities, and challenges, precisely those seas unite us in that endeavor. Third, the European Union, because the Spanish foreign policy is profoundly European. And also because Minister Jaishankar said, India-Spain collaboration will certainly contribute to a stronger India-EU ties. And this year might well be the year of India within the European Union. The visit of the College of Commissioners in February, the Trade and Technology Council, the new roadmap and the new strategic agenda, and the last Council conclusions, plus the negotiations in course for a free trade agreement may well accommodate all the needs that we both have, India and the European Union. And last but not least, because we are speaking about smart cities, Spain and India have been paramount in the development of the launching of the G20 Global Alliance of Smart Cities, pioneering Barcelona, Bilbao, Córdoba, Mangalore, and Indore among the 36 cities that participate. And also because if we talk about the 2030 agenda, we cannot forget that among the Sustainable Development Goals, number 11 is based on urban and human settlements. And I think it's very important that today we unite to reflect on how cities can contribute to cement and develop that multilateralism. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador. So we have seen a little bit the reason why we're here, why India is important and the potential for Europe and for Spain. But also, we would like to have a vision from India. So while you are a journalist, you have been working many years as a journalist, you are now a researcher. India, over the last years, has gained a lot of path, a lot of weight in international scene, not necessarily because it's demographic weight, but also because of the power of their cities, of the urban dimension. So that's why we talk that we say that India is an urban superpower. Has this changed a little bit the identity, the way India is deploying international relations? This is what we call the soft power of India, is very much based in this urban power.
Absolutely. Right. So thank you so much, Pao, for this question, and thank you for the organizers for giving us this big stage. So had I been asked this question, say about 20 years ago, 15 to 20 years ago, I would have been amused, and I'm sure that a lot of Indians would have been. But what has actually transpired, especially in the last 15 odd years, is that we have witnessed, and I've witnessed in front of my own eyes, a really transformative story of urbanization that has happened in India. And it has been a story of scale and of innovation and of new governance systems that have been put into place. So just to give you an example, by 2050, India would be adding 400 million new people in its urban geography, in the urban landscape. So just to give you an idea, it is about adding one single Europe, including England, to our urban landmass, or 10 Spains who will start living in India. But it's not just about these numbers. This transformation is not just demographic or just adding population. It is also something what the government has done. It has converted this entire thing into a kind of a strategic lever. And if you look at some of the policies that have been implemented, and with very good measure of success over the past 15 years, especially I would like to point out the Smart Cities mission, the Amrut 2. The second phase of Amrut is right now being under implementation, and there is the National Urban Digital Mission. And I think these are the key urban policies that have really pushed, become a key driver of India's urban development. And what we are, again, to give you some figures, we are under these projects, we are implementing some 5,800 odd projects at a cost of nearly rupees 2 lakh crore, which is coming to somewhere around 90 billion euros. And so this work is on as we speak. And so our cities are now, I think, learning to balance digital ambition and economic growth with social inclusion. And I think that is a very fundamental thing. And turning smart city frameworks into models of climate resilience with people at the core. We just heard earlier in the morning, Nilanjan talk about the great UPI, or the Unified Payments Interface. And under that, the undergirding, the underpinning body is the India Stack. And I think now this digitalization of every Indian essential service delivery has happened. And so, people are more empowered, people can have their say not just in governance, but also in real-time project monitoring, and also in grievance redressal, that your complaint can be tracked online till such time it reaches a satisfactory or a logical conclusion. So I think that India's urban story is about creating city models that are affordable, that are inclusive, and replicable across the global south. And that, I would say, is what makes India an emerging urban power with global relevance.
Thank you very much. We come back to you. And now, moving down a little bit into the territory, into the cities and non-state actors and regions. Maria Galindo, you are Secretary of Digital Policies of the regional government. You also have a strong background and long experience in the city council, in the cities. You are deploying a strategy to make of Catalonia, Barcelona, Catalonia, a platform of innovation, an open platform of innovation, and also especially in smart cities. When we think in terms of attracting talent, investment, companies, we were saying before the scene, behind the scenes, companies, they do not think anymore in countries. in states. They do think in cities or territories or ecosystems. And I think that you are pushing very much into create the conditions to have Catalonia, Barcelona as this platform. So tell us a little bit how you do it and how do you foresee a possible cooperation with India? How we can profit each other with different experiences to foster our relations? Welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pau, and thanks everyone. So yes, no doubt. I mean, it's all about the ecosystems nowadays, right? And in Catalonia, in Barcelona, we know that innovation and technology is what we must push forward right now. I mean, the digital sector accounts around 14% of our GDP in Catalonia, and it's growing more and more every year. More companies are establishing here their innovation hubs, their technology hubs, like the last study that was released accounted on 160 technology hubs in Catalonia, ranging from companies from biotech to pharma to automotive to many industries that establish here their innovation and digital hubs. So it means that we're doing some things in the right way. I'd say that one of the keys to succeeding around the ecosystem is aligning the public and private efforts. So having a strong vision on where you want to go in terms of your digital positioning, on your digital regulation, the digital infrastructure that you're going to deliver is something that companies regard very much. So we are putting forward different digital policies. We just launched our space tech strategy. We are launching very soon an AI strategy that aligns with the government of Spain's strategy on AI, the European Union strategy on AI. And I think that moving together towards a common goal is something that companies value very much in terms of when to invest and how to invest. Of course, I'm speaking on behalf of the government of Catalonia, but out of those 160 tech hubs that are located in Catalonia, let's say like 95% are actually located in Barcelona. So no doubt like that the Barcelona innovation effect affects the rest of the territory. So I really think we'll live in the era of cities. In 30 years' time, cities will account for 75% of population. You were mentioning that India alone is adding like 400 million population. Right. So it's cities where things happen at the first place. But in Catalonia, knowing that we have this like Barcelona effect, we want to make it also an asset for the rest of the territory. So building also innovation hubs in the rest of the territory and working together with the private companies with investments that are interested in Barcelona and in terms like, I don't know, but in Catalonia, you can reach any corner in Catalonia in 2-3 hours drive. So it's not that much for, let's say, a company that comes from India. So it truly is how we can make out an asset of our cities in order to really complement our territory and making it equitable like throughout the territory. Catalonia has like 9,000 foreign companies. There's many more interested in coming to Catalonia. It's a hub for innovation in the south of Europe for startups, but we have a big challenge, which is talent. And I think that talent is also one of the issues that we can arise in a cooperation with India, because it's not just our challenge in Catalonia or in Barcelona, but I know that it's a challenge in Spain and also in the rest of Europe.
Thank you very much, Maria. And last but not least, Nandan Dauda, you are an expert in mobility, in transport.
Yeah.
I was mentioning at the beginning, when we think in opportunities, sustainability, equity, security, democracy, mobility and transport is everywhere. So mobility should be a public good. Transport should be a public good. And in Mumbai, probably this is one of the main challenges that you have.
Right.
I think that you are a laboratory in itself. Here in the Smart City World Expo, there is one part where is mobility. No? It's tomorrow mobility. I think that Mumbai should have a stand next year in the Smart City Expo. No? But can you share with us a little bit what are the main drivers, your main policies to make it an inclusive mobility policy in Mumbai? And welcome.
Thank you for the question. So, as we all know that urban mobility is not just moving about the people, but about having an inclusion and opportunity for the commuters and citizens. Both India and Spain in some ways are working in the same direction, but maybe in the different way, I would like to say. And the ultimate goal is, of course, to create a cleaner, safer, and inclusive urban mobility. So initially, I would like to highlight that what exactly the situation is in India from India perspective.
Yes, Vian.
Then our cities like Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai, they have become like a living laboratories where various innovation attempts have been made in terms of startups. And these attempts are now transferring not just from a project of metro, but creating an integrated ecosystem where we connect all the modes of transport by implementing the policies like transit-oriented development and establishing unified metropolitan transport authorities into these cities. Even if we talk about the mobility as services, then we do have companies like Ola, Uber, Yulu, and Rapido. Now, these companies are redefining shared mobility service as well as the electric mobility for the first and last mile connectivity. And we do have companies like Tata Motors, Ashok, Legion, and Switch Mobilities, which are the manufacturer of electric buses under the Yojana called PM E-Seva Yojana. So these are the various attempts that are made in India from the mobility perspective. If I talk from the institutional perspective, we have various organizations like ours, ORF, NIUA, National Institute of Urban Affairs, Niti Aayog, and WRI India, which are working in developing the frameworks which can be common for data-driven and inclusive transport planning into the cities. And finally, if I talk about the streets, we do not have a complete street concept in India. So under various smart city missions, we have various challenges like India Transport for All Challenge or Street for People Challenge, where we are trying to attempt to create a street which is complete in nature. But in spite of these efforts, I really feel that there are various spaces where India could synergize with Spain and learn and can create a win-win situation for both the countries. For instance, the concept of super block in Spain for creating an inclusive street can be something which can be implemented in India. This will also help. Even what we can really understand is about the street vending policies of the cities, how these streets are designed to incorporate the vendors into it. Also, if I talk about the public transport operations, then of course Spain has expertise in the multimodal operation and integration. Companies like Ferrovial, CAF, ALSA, and Moventia, these companies set a benchmark in running an efficient and high-quality public transport systems. So I indeed feel that agencies like Metro Rail Corporation in India, maybe BEST, and various other can collaborate with these companies and create an operational excellency of Spain, as well as the India's digital and cost-efficient innovation. Talking for the urban freight domain, then in Indian cities, we do have companies which work of using AI and the EV fleet. While in Spain, we do have companies like Scoopix and Urban and SEUR. So maybe these companies can collaborate together and create an ecosystem which becomes easy for both the countries to operate. And there are many things that both the countries can learn from each other. So in nutshell, the mobility in 21st century is seen as public good, a right that guarantees equal access to all. So India brings the digital agility, scale, and affordability, while Spain brings the urban design, operational excellency, and human-centric planning. So these are the ways I feel can definitely the urban mobility be benefited. Thank you.
And if I just may add one thing to it, I think it's very critical that every digital transformation that is happening in India, which is data-backed, it is based on open source and interoperable data. It is not a vendor locked thing. And I think this is where there is a lot of scope for not just India and Spain, but also India and EU at large, to work on aspects of data ethics, on AI regulation, and also on digital rights. Because when you talk about open and interoperable data, it really changes the game as to how an application can be thought of in a more beneficial way for the masses, not just for the elite.
But taking this command of taking the advantage of technology, India and Spain are considered full democracies.
Yeah.
And we are living in a world where democracy is under threat, is under pressure. How can smart cities and urban policies can interact with traditional diplomacy, with the state diplomacy, in order to strengthen democracy? There is a complementary work to be done together from the city side with the democratic states. In that sense, Elena, Ambassador, how do you see city diplomacy can reinforce the work that you are deploying in defending multilateralism and democracy globally?
Well, I think if you see the UN report, it says during the 21st century, cities have become the drivers of innovative, sustainable development. And if you have development and it's sustained, then societies change and they create models. And to do that, you need multilateralism. I spoke about the G20, I spoke about the UN and the 2030 agenda. So I think that's where we should focus what we are doing. Among other things, because societies are being modeled by cities. And I think that's something we must take into account. And also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been very keen on making sure that everyone is listened to and that all views are taken into account. And the instruments we are using, Casasia, for instance, people-to-people culture, is paramount. And you have all societies and cultures, but also regions. The Spanish India Council Foundation works with town halls and with regions. And during the EU rotation presidency of the Council of the European Union, the government made sure that all the big events were distributed all throughout Spain. So I think both in politics, in multilateralism, but also at home, and from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I think it's underscored how we bear in mind the importance both of cities and regions in what we are doing.
Thank you, Elena. Well, from your side, how do you see India's role and your technological experience in deploying a complex democracy, if I can say like this, can be used, can be implemented in some other regions in the world? I think that India can make a substantial contribution for promoting democratic values from a city side, from the urban side.
Right. No, so digitalization has actually become, if you can say, the nervous system of India's urban transformation. It has built on the backbone, as I said earlier, on the backbone provided by India Stack, which is the same platform that is enabling around 12 billion UPI transactions. So India perhaps is the only country in the world which has leapfrogged the plastic money thing. So nobody in India uses any cash or any plastic or any credit card or any card for that example. Because my mobile phone is something that I can take to anywhere in the country and I can pay for a bus ride. I can everything using the UPI, which is there on just about every phone now. So much so that Indians are laughing that even if you have to give alms to someone who is poor, then you can do it by the street side using your UPI app. So I think it has this particular thing coupled with platforms like the India Urban Data Exchange, which has been developed by the Indian Institutes of Science in Bangalore and which is operational in over 35 smart cities. This is allowing municipal departments and startups and citizens to share data securely. And what this has done, that it has really underpinned solutions for traffic management, for flood forecast, for heat wave management and mitigation, and also for something which is very basic and essential, like water supply, sanitation, and solid waste management. So I think that another very critical thing is that when you are looking at digitalization, there is also a very important and a critical need for it to be a very human kind of an interface. And that is where platforms like SmartNet and Citizen Connect now allow citizens to really monitor the government processes and the infrastructure development that happens. And as I very rightly said just earlier, that it is crucially India's entire model is open sourced and interoperable. And that is one aspect that makes it very democratic. Because it is the government, the platform may be owned by the government, but it is actually used by the people. So there is this open network, the ONDC is what we call it. Like they are creating that platform which is owned by the government, but it is populated by all these private mobility and private civic solution players who come on board and they actually get a chance to implement on ground solutions. So I think in a sense, India's cities are not just becoming smarter, I think they are becoming digitally democratic and ensuring that technology eventually serves the citizens and not the other way around.
Thank you. Maria, we are talking about India and Spain, and obviously the size of the cities in India is huge. Probably we had to compare with us. Mumbai metropolitan area is around 30 million population, so it's more or less like Catalonia, 8-9 million, so there is an equivalence. No? So can be established a very interesting cooperation between India and Catalonia in that sense. We know, without doing a spoiler, that you are going to present in the coming days a very interesting initiative on artificial intelligence. India is a superpower on that. How can we establish more cooperation, both institutionally, but also at the startups level and so on? And how can we strengthen, can we send a message to our friends from Mumbai that we are ready to work with them?
Well, absolutely in forums like this. So I think this is a really good start. We had the chance of meeting. Yesterday we had a really nice meeting with the ambassador of India to Spain and the consul and the team. So I think that to get the conversation started is very important. Of course, Catalonia has long had a tradition of establishing cooperation and also business cooperation with India, actually through Axio, which is the agency for foreign trade and business internationalization. We have 2 offices, one in Delhi, one in Mumbai, and I know that soon, I don't know if this might also be a spoiler, but I think there's going to be a delegation of the government of Catalonia also in India. I'm going to be like...
Nobody has listened.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously the interest is growing and growing, and yesterday we were discussing about the different sectors that we foresee that are of mutual interest, say automotive parts, textile. We also mentioned pharmaceuticals, and above all, as you were mentioning, AI, digital services, technology. So we're facing, I think, economically a phase where technology is like embedded in all the traditional sectors. So that's one of the challenges India is facing. That's one of the challenges we are facing here. How do we come up with efficiencies in traditional industries? And so no doubt through technology, through AI. I know, and this might also be a spoiler, oh my God, I'm going to be like fired in no time, but for next year we are foreseeing some missions to India. So when taking along some companies, some startups, that's to begin with. But I think that those kind of missions also establish the relationships. I had also a meeting earlier today, and we were mentioning that I mean, it's by meeting each other, like personally, that you can really make cooperation to flow and to be established. So I think that those actions are going to be very welcomed, and also for our ecosystem. So taking along some startups, some entities of the Catalan ecosystem, and then meeting the startups, the entities, the companies in the Indian ecosystem.
Thank you, Maria. We have 4 minutes, so I would like to end the session by requesting you to think in an utopian way. So we are saying that 21st century is the century of cities. Some people see the future in dystopic way. So the future will be worse than the present or the past. Some of us, we are optimistic. So it depends on what we do today. So Nandan, what is your utopia for the urban planning regarding your field, what is transport? If you had to design the future, how would you design in 50 seconds?
Yeah, so of course, the urban transport system is at a peak in India, and there has been number of innovations that are taking place. And as you rightly pointed out at the beginning, the problems that India is facing is tremendous in terms of, the type, the differences that they have based on the type of the city, form of the city. So whatever innovation that is happening in India would be definitely be a game changer for the upcoming time. And what I see is that we will be having an integrated, efficient, and sustainable transport system in India.
Got it. We agree. Elena, what can we expect from the future?
Well, if, as I said before, cities are modeling our societies, then I think in the future, the more resilient our societies are will largely depend on how better our cities are. And that's something we can also push through from a bottom-up approach in the UN system, the agencies, and of course within the European Union.
Thank you, Elena. Dawal, how are you going to use this urban superpower?
Now, well, looking at it from the Indian perspective, I think urban future will define India's global future. And in that sense, to just give you another statistic, by 2035, cities will contribute up to 75% plus to India's GDP. So I think they will be, besides just the economic contribution, I think they are the labs where we will see not just economic growth, but also innovation and cultural transformation take place. But what excites me the most is the evolution of the idea of the smart city. And I think in the future, I think we must aim to go from smart to sustainable and from sustainable to sensitive. Cities that are not just digital and electronically empowered, but are also data aware, inclusive, just, and ecologically balanced. I think that should sum up the future of cities.
Agree. I think.
Thank you.
Maria, any other spoiler?
On AI?
For the future.
Sure,
How is going to be our future?
On AI, my wish is for AI to be developed, used, and applied in an ethical, trustworthy, sustainable, and inclusive way.
Absolutely. Do we agree? Yes. So we are on time, 56 seconds. Let me say three things. First of all, to thank the Spain-India Foundation of the Foreign Affairs Ministry for organizing this Fora India-Spain Fora in Barcelona. It's been an honor for us to host it. We want more, second thing, we want more India in Barcelona, Catalonia, and Spain. So guys, you have to come more often. We have to do more things together. And the third thing is that distance is not measured anymore in kilometers, it's in relations. So if we strengthen our relations, we'll be much closer. So thank you very much to everyone, and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you all for being here in today's sessions. We have explored how technology, governance, and creativity are reshaping the future of our cities. We've done in Europe, but we've gone beyond Europe. We've seen examples like India that are redefining urban power through sustainability and digital transformation. These conversations, what reminds us is that smart cities are, above all, about people. So now it's time to continue these discussions in a more relaxed setting. We look forward to 6 p.m. here in this same setting. It's going to take place the World Smart City Awards ceremony to celebrate ideas, connections, and the cities of tomorrow. So we look forward to it and to seeing you again. Bye-bye.